So I think where we left off, we were creating the individual task page, and I was running into this render error. And now that I think about it, I probably should separate this request into its own function versus doing it within the use effect hook. So let me do this. I'm going to remove this code, create a separate function here, and then I'll call that function, within the use effect hook. And I'm thinking that should take care of me because that's what I did for the task list itself. So let me do this. Let me just copy this, and right above it, we'll create a function named fetch data, and we're going to pass in a task ID, and within it, let me see, we should be able to just paste this within that, and we'll move this to within the hook, and we'll also pass in the status as well. And this should, well, let me do it this. We'll take this out. We'll pass this here, and we'll say if the status is equal to authenticated, then we want to fetch the data, and we want to pass in the params.id, and we want to pass it down as well, and we'll say not authorized that. Let's save and see what we're getting here. So it still says loading. So it's not, let me see. So it's not giving an error. That's good. So let's see. We have the task ID. We're making the Nextjs get request. Then we have the response. And the status is equal authenticated. We want to fetch the data and send back the params ID and the status. Okay, and this will remain the same. This looks good. Okay. All right, so we're at least not getting that error that we were getting before, but it looks like it is just loading and not passing through the data. So let me see. I tell you what, I'm just going to remove this and let's just retype it. So we'll go fetch data. It's equal to task ID. And this is going to be Nextjs.get and /API/task and be $, and this is going to be the task ID. And I think I had params in there before. That's the reason it wasn't working, but that's fine. .den, and we'll pass in response. And within it, we want to set the task with response.data. And we'll go catch any errors. And we'll console the error. And this should have a period in front of it. Okay. All right, so let's save it, and yep, I know. And we're gonna grab the use effect hook now and pass this in versus passing it in within the use effect hook. And if the status is equal to authenticated, then we want to fetch the data, and we'll go ctx.params.id, and right here we will pass in the params again so that we'll have access to it, and we'll also send in the status. And if the status does not equal authenticated, then we'll return a p tag that says text center not authorized. And if there is no task, we'll return a p tag, class name, text center, and we'll say loading task. And that's probably what we're going to get right now. Nope, there we go. So this should be the task that we just clicked on previously. So let's just go back because we've had a lot going on here. So if I click on one, the first one, I click on update, I get the same status, the same title, same description. We'll go back. If I click on update here, we get the same thing. Okay, so it looks like that would fix the issue, so we don't need to pass that through the use effect hook. Just make sure that we pass it in individually in its separate function and then call it within the use effect hook. So got it. Okay, so we have the edit button here. We can add a little bit of padding on the Y. Let's go padding on the X, 4, just to give it a little bit of style, and this will work. And underneath the link, we want to add in the button for delete, and we'll pass in a class name. Let's save it so we can see something. Okay, we'll pass in a class name, of course, and we'll go BG the background to be red. We'll set it to 500, and on hover we'll go BG red. We'll make it 600, and we'll go margin left of 2. Give it a little bit of space. There we go. And what we got, padding Y, close to see a little better. We have padding Y of 2 and padding on the X of 4. So if we save it, yeah, that looks about right. And now that we have that, we'll need to pass in the on click handler, and we named this delete function that we deleted. So let's retype it really quick. So for the delete function, we'll just call it handle delete task, and we'll go router.push, because really all we want to do is refresh the screen and send it back to the home page. So we'll just go before we do the push, let me make the Axios request first. So we will go Axios.get, and no, this is a delete. So Axios.delete, and we are going to pass in slash API task slash $ctx.params.id, and then we'll go .den, and we want to pass this in. We'll go router.push, and we want to go back to the home page, or the task page, excuse me. And underneath, we'll do the catch, And if we get an error, we want to go console the error. Okay. And let's move this here. Okay. And yeah, I know we need to pass in this handle delete task right here. So we'll go handle delete task. Let's save it. And loading the task. Here we go. So if we click delete, it sends us back to the home page. We see we have 3 total tasks. And if we go to our cluster, we're down to 3. So we see delete works as well. So only thing we have left now is to fix the edit page or add an edit page. And what we'll do is once you click on update, it'll take you to this page. And if you click edit, then it will take you to the edit page. And we're going to name the edit page task/edit and then the ID. So it'll be in the task directory as well, the task API directory. So right here, we'll go task, and then we'll go edit, and we'll pass in the ID. And let's add a page.js file. Close this out. We'll add use client at the top. Let's just make sure that it routes correctly. And let's delete this. Let's go edit task. Change this to a section. Edit task. Save it. And if we click on edit, it tells us it can't find the page. What's this endpoint? Task, edit, and then the ID. Task, edit, ID. Let's see. Try it again. Update, edit. Saying page can't be found. Task, edit. See, task, edit, ID. And let's look at our. Oh, duh. Because I put it in the wrong directory. Ha, that would explain it. So let's delete this page. And let's delete both of these directories here. And let's make sure we're in the right task right here first. I may start grouping these. There's a way that you can start grouping these now. I may start doing that just to make this a little easier on myself. So we'll go edit. We'll go ID. Then we'll go page.js. Use client. IFCE. And let's go edit task. Change this to a section. Edit task. Save it. There we go. All right. So on our edit task page, we'll start by bringing in, of course, we want use client. We want use effect and use state. So we'll use effect, use state, and we're going to bring in our router. Next, navigation, and we'll bring in Axios, and we're going to use the same editor here as well. So we'll just go to the new task and grab it right here. And we need sessions. That's right. So here's one of the drawbacks of client side. because if this was server side, we wouldn't have to bring it in so many times. The code is a lot less when you do it this way, but it's a best practice to make that authentication as much as you can, make it everything server side for that matter. So our next project will go back to server side, but I wanted to show what client side looked like for this particular project. So now that we have our imports in, now we'll need to add in a few things within the function itself. So first we'll need to pass in CTX, and in that way we'll be able to grab the ID that we'll be updating, or we'll be able to send it back to the API endpoint. So first we'll create the task, and we actually can go to the new and grab the state from it, and then we'll bring in our router, and then never mind, well, I'll go ahead and just do that. Sorry, I'm figuring out my dinner for this evening. And then we'll bring in the session data. I could have grabbed this as well too. Session status, and we'll go use session, and we'll say if, actually, you know what, let's just grab this from this page. I want to have, if it's not authenticated, passing not authorized, and then let's do the let's create a separate function. So let's call this handle const. We'll go handle let's do this. How do I want to create this one? Because you can do it a few different ways. I'll tell you what, let's just go with it this way. So we'll go use effect first. Let's see, it should work this way because it's just getting Axios.get, and we want to go /API/task/ $, and then we're going to pass in the ctx.params. ams.id, and then we'll go .then, go response. This is equal to set task data, and we're going to pass in the response.data. Then we'll have our .catch, and if we get an error, we'll do the same thing. We'll console the error. Giving tasking task, and we'll just pass the error. And right here we want to put an array to hold the data that we fetch. So let's save it. Yep. So we'll need to create a separate variable to store the request. So we'll create a const to fetch the data. Sorry, I don't know why my chair is squeaking so bad today. So we'll go const fetch data. That isn't being used anywhere, is it? No. Okay, so I can use it. So we'll go const fetch data, and we'll pass in the task ID, and it's going to look very similar to what we just created. So we'll do an axios.get, and we want to be able to get this request is going to go to /API task, and we'll pass in the task ID, and then under it, of course, is .then, response, and we want to set, task data, and we'll go response.data, and then if come under that, and then we'll do a catch error console.log. Well, let me see console.error. Go error. Okay. Yep. Okay. And then now we can do the use effect. So we'll go use effect, and we'll go if status is equal to authenticated, then we'll say fetch data, and let's see, how do we want to do this part? Actually, we don't need to, once we fetch the data, well, we probably should. Once we fetch the data, then we'll need to make the update request. So we'll fetch it, and then we will okay. So we'll go fetch data, and here we will we'll say ctx.params.id, and we want to pass in the ctx.params.id and the status. And now we'll need to create well, let's make sure we have this working. Yep, here we go. So this is saying use effect. Yep. Okay. Still giving us a little an error here. Okie dokie. So let's see here. Don't need this one open. Actually, can probably use this exact same piece here, and what all did we copy up through the fetch data? Okay, and let's create the handle edit function. Constant handle edit task, and this is going to be an asynchronous function because we do have to wait. So we'll go try catch, and we'll say let response equal await .axios.put. This was a put request, and we'll send the backtick /API/task /ctx.params.id, and we'll pass back the task data. And if we get an error, let's console.log it. Well, if we don't get an error, excuse me, let's go with let's go with task updated. Sorry, I drew a blank there. Been a long day. Response.data. And inside the catch portion, let's go with console.error. Error updating. Pass back the error. Okay, and that should take care of it. So still no errors. Okay, that's a good thing. So let's add in some styling. So we'll go class name, and we'll go max width will be screen, and we want to set this to extra large, and we'll set the margin to auto. And here, let's add in the form, FORM, and we want to give this a class name and give it a little bit of padding on the Y, and this will handle the on submit, and we'll pass in the handle edit task. Okay, still good. And first we'll have a label with a class name of margin right, and this will be our title. And underneath the title, let's have a input with a closing tag. First, we'll give it a class name of input boarded, input primary, width is full, and we'll go max width extra small, and we'll set the type to text. The value will be task data dot title, and the on change method we'll pass in. We'll listen for an event, and once we get the event, we'll set the task data, and we want to destructure this task data, and we'll pass this input will have the title, and we'll go e.target.value, and let's save it. And okay, that is okay, and it is passing in test 3, which is the test or the task that we clicked on, the title of it. So perfect. All right, and underneath it, let's add the div, and we'll give it some margin bottom of 4 just for some space. And of course, right here we'll use the simple MD. Just give it a closing tag, and we'll go value, and here we'll have the task data dot descript, and we'll pass in the on change method, and it will take a value. And remember, we have to do this one a little different. I took this directly from the docs, and then we'll destructure the data, and we'll pass in task data, and we'll this is going to be representing the description, and it's going to be the value. And we see it appear here on the screen. Perfect. Actually, you know what? Instead of making this small, why don't we just go full? Yeah, that'll work. And then last but not least, we'll need our select options to update the status. So we'll go div class margin bottom of 4. We'll go select, and within the well, I guess I should put a label above it. Label, and right here we'll give it a class name, a margin right 2. This is going to be status. Now we'll go to the select, and first we'll give it a class name of select boarded, and we'll go select small with this full. Okay, and we see the status listed here now. And underneath the class name, let's add a value. And this is going to be task data, and we'll set the status. Well, we'll set the task data to status. That's the value it should show. Okay. And we'll have we'll pass this one a onChange method as well. And it's going to be just like the title input, and it'll take in and it'll listen for an event, and we'll set the task data. And within it, we want to destructure the task data, and we'll set status to e.target.value. Okay, and now within the select options, or select, let's add in the option, and the first one will have a value of open, and we'll just copy these, and we'll change this one from open to closed, and this one should be progress, PROGRESS, and this will be progress and closed. Okay, and then last but not least, we'll need to pass in, or we need to include the button. So we'll put it in its div. We'll go margin bottom 4, and we'll add the button. We'll give it a class name of btn wide, and it'll be a type of submit. And we'll say update task. All right, perfect. So we see that task 3 is in progress, so we'll change it to closed. Task 3 edited, task 3 edited, and we'll go update task. And once we do that, we see that it is updated. And if we go back to our task list, boom, we see it here. And if we go to update, we see it there. And actually, you know what? I want to put this within, let's set the max width. Let's say screen width max Excel. What am I missing? It should be max. I'll just copy it from here. Make it simple. Okay. And we'll go here. Oh, I see what I did now. Okay. That's all good. There we go. And as you can see, it's set now. And let's add this same structure to the edit page. And if we click on edit, it takes us there, and we see it within the max width as well. And we can give this a little bit of padding. Let's go margin bottom 4. Not padding, but margin bottom. And yep, the rest of it has it. Okay. All right. So there you have it. We have our full stack task manager complete. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I had to break it up into 3 parts. You know, life happens. So you know how that goes. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to give me a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.